All right, listen up, you people. We are working on, still on page 23 in our notebook. This is lesson 11. All right, so now everyone has their, okay, you guys remember, what is this thing right here called?
Protractor.
Protractor, right? Okay, we have a protractor here. Does everyone have their protractor? There should be 2 in each of the boxes, right? So you and your partner should have one. And for some reason, you shouldn't have to go wandering around to another group's box just because you lost your protractor. It should be 2 in every box.
No, I can't forget tape.
Yes. There's none.
We need one more.
There's your one more, and there's your 2. I think because that person in front of you yesterday left everything out on the desk. So, all right. Okay, now that I got your attention up here, and not your phone, which is also up here now because this is times 2. Thank you. Bring it up here. All right, walk of shame. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. All right, it says draw a segment. Okay. Draw a segment, label the endpoints A and B. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's draw a segment. So I'm just going to use a straight edge portion of this. So I am right here somewhere. And I'm going to label my endpoints with A and B, right? A here, B here. So I know everyone just finished that because everyone's notebook is open. Everyone is not staring at me awkwardly right now. And yes, I am talking to him right now. The notebook's open, right? On the right page, right? Okay. All right, so now we have this one right here. It says, rotate segment AB clockwise. Now, let's take a look. So, for the sake of clockwise, so if I have a circle like this, it goes in the same direction as the clock, which is going to be this way. Okay, so counterclockwise would be, I have a circle right here. So counterclockwise would be going this way.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's sad to say, but I have a lot of students right now, even though I do have a clock at the front of the room, cannot tell me what time it is because
They can't read phone.
cannot read a analog clock.
That's sad.
I know how to read.
Okay? I said a lot of people, not everybody. I know we have some people.
You learn
So,
that in kindergarten.
okay. All right. So we're going to rotate this by 90 degrees. Okay? And rotate segment AB clockwise centered around B. 90 degrees. Okay? So let's take a look. So that means B has to go 90 degrees. So watch this. So B, okay, so if I go straight up, so I have my line right here, so I'm going to rotate it, there we go, making sure it's on there, there it is. All right, so if you notice over here, it's lined up at 0, and then 90 would go this way, wouldn't it? Okay, it's going up this way, isn't it? So if I'm rotating it this way, so let's take a look. It's going to go right there. And where's that patty paper I had? Actually, I lost mine. I don't know what I do with my patty paper. Okay, so we know it's supposed to go up that way, right? It's supposed to go up to here. So let's go ahead and, since we are going to copy it, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, those ones, or that one? That one? Yeah.
They're gonna be rich.
All right, so watch this, you guys. Now, if it is centered around, so it's rotating around, so that means I need to stab B. So I'm using my pen, stabbing B, so I'm holding that in place, and now I move this one right here, and move it so where it touches that line right there, right? So now, that is my new A. So kind of push through the paper for that one, right there. So that is going to be my new point A. Now, when I move it, listen up please, when I move it, it is no longer A. It is A after a move, and I call it A prime, with a little tick mark on there. So use my straight edge and go ahead and connect the dots. There we go. So I have now completed what it said. So did I move B? So am I going to say B prime here?
No.
No, I didn't move that one. I only moved A. So what this is saying is I started with A. A is my my pre-image. This is pre-image, and this is my image. Is everyone okay with that? Now, connect A to A prime. Connect A to A prime. I have connected those, and it said lightly shaded. So, to get out my pencil, can't really shade with a pen. There we go. So, lightly shaded. Now, step C. What kind of triangle did we draw? Isosceles. Who said that? You know what? I finally get to break open.
Your sticker.
Huh?
That's
A
all you get.
sticker?
Yeah.
Yes. It is very sticker.
That seems.
No, it sticks to your teeth.
I can't catch.
Okay, good.
So,
All right, so what that person just said is that this is going to be isosceles triangle. In isosceles triangle, what do we know?
It has two equal sides.
Two equal sides, very good. So this right here, tick mark and tick mark. So I could say that this is an isosceles.
And different.
S-O-L. Dang it. Can't read. Someone help me out. I-S-O.
I saw so. Has a couple syllables.
L-E-S somewhere. Isosceles
Alright, so we
triangle.
tried. So let's get a lollipop.
There we go. All right. So I know I totally messed that one up. My dyslexia is bad today. All right. Isosceles triangle. Now, is there another way to categorize this triangle right here?
Two equal sides.
Yeah, two equal sides. Okay, so now
90 degrees.
that is measuring it by a sides. What if I say it by the angles?
90 degrees.
90
Okay, a 90-degree angle, but what do I call this though? It's not a 90-degree angle, it's a
Right angle.
it's a right what?
Right angle.
Right.
Mr.
Angle.
You spelled isosceles.
Where were you like 3 minutes ago when we were talking about that?
Stretching it up.
Yeah, get off your phone. So right triangle.
So are you interchanging?
Yes, I am, because you searched it up for me. Thank you, I appreciate that. How do I spell isosceles?
Just add a C next to the S.
Which S? There's 3 S's.
Yeah.
ISO,
The second one.
put a C here.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's supposed to
No.
be ISO
Yeah.
SCOLES.
That's how you spell isosceles?
It don't look like
that
that.
doesn't look like
isosceles. That's a whole actual triangle.
That's isosceles.
Okay, either way. All right.
Welcome to English language.
Right?
101.
Hey.
None of us can understand.
Okay, how about this? Let's call it like this instead. Okay? This is the abbreviation for isosceles we're going to use today, okay? We're going to just call this today. That's going to be the abbreviation for isosceles.
Wait, I found it. ISOS.
Hi, hold on. ISOS.
CELES.
That looks probably right.
It's like
See, that
spelling.
looks right.
No, it's not. That's how you spelled it on the vocabulary.
Okay, I did.
It's like
Put a triangle. It looks better that way.
Okay, you guys ready?
isosceles.
Hey, class.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we label this as a right triangle, because it has a triangle with one right angle, and we know it has two congruent sides, so that makes it an isosceles triangle, so it's a symbol for triangle. Triangle symbol is a symbol for triangle. Okay, so what type can we draw? What other properties do you notice in the figure? Explain your reasoning. Isosceles, because we said that these two sides are going to be the same. They are congruent. It's an isosceles triangle. It's a right triangle also if I'm categorizing them by angles. Okay? It's a right triangle by angles. Okay, does everyone feel good about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're not crying too much about that anymore. All right, let's take a 3. It says draw a segment, label the endpoints C and D. So hopefully I'm not going to make this one too big.
C and D, right?
I think that's what it says. There we go. All right. All right, you guys ready? So this next one says rotate segment CD counterclockwise around D by 30 degrees. Okay, counterclockwise. So around D, so here's D. So if you notice, it's actually going down, right? So I have to turn this. Because counterclockwise turns this way, doesn't it? Okay, there's a couple ways of doing this, and I'm going to start by flipping this over like this. There we go. So now I have it lined up here, don't I?
Yeah.
I have it lined up, and since I'm going counterclockwise, isn't counterclockwise going to be like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to rotate this way. So that means this way it's going to go 30 degrees. So now I'm going to put a mark right here at 30, right? Yes? Okay, so I put a mark right there at 30, so it's going into my next problem, but you know what? Life happens. Let's trace that. Huh? We're not making the line yet because we're tracing this. Okay, so I have D, right? So now, when I do this, I need to make sure, where am I going to pivot this at? Class,
Yeah.
where am I going to pivot this at? Centered at
D.
D, thank you. Centered at D, thank you.
Let's see.
So let's go right here,
And that's gonna be C prime.
right there, and it's a little bit closer than my thing, so it should be right there. And I'm going to label that one C
Tick
prime. C prime. Yes, it goes into my other one, but you know what? Life happens.
Wait,
Oh.
what? What are you gonna do?
Sometimes I get that.
Alright.
Wait, so we step.
So D is where it's rotating around. So that's where I held my pen. So that's where I actually held this when I turned the paper, right? So I held this when I turned the paper and I rotated like that.
To the left.
Just like that.
Dang, you smart.
This is how we do it. Just like that. Now, listen up. Rotate segment C prime D counterclockwise around D, centered, okay, another 30 degrees. So that means that I need to go, so I'm going to rotate this one, right? I'm rotating this one, so I line this up. There we go. So it goes another 30 degrees, doesn't it? So another 30 degrees is going to put me well into my paragraph for my next one. Yes?
Oh my god, hold up.
Okay, look, I lined it up right here. Look, there's my vertex right here in the center. And then it's lined up along this thing right here. See how I have that black line there? I make sure this is lined up along my line.
C.
Yeah, that's the C prime, right? And so now, let's go ahead and there's D, right? And that's the C prime, right? Rotate it again so it goes to right here. So this is going to be, since I moved it from C prime to here, that's going to make this one C double prime.
Triple prime.
Double prime.
Triple kill.
Connect my dots. There it is. And connect C to C double prime.
Going so fast.
Not really. So if I'm going too fast for you, just pause the video and back it up a little bit.
Oh, I kind of did it wrong.
How do you do that to a human? Pretty sure my mom looked at me when I was and actually gets that abortion. Yeah.
You light shaded?
Says lightly shaded.
I think I did this wrong.
So I know I did, because I'm well into my next paragraph here.
How are you gonna read the paragraph? Without the line?
It's only lightly shaded.
Look at the lines.
Yes.
Is that supposed to make a triangle or a?
Yes. If you notice right here.
Triangles.
Oh, it does. Okay, yeah.
And so now, I just finished C right here.
Wait, what? The last point is C what? C.
Double prime. It's right here on step C. Hey,
Are you shading both triangles?
it said right here,
Yes. You are right.
from C to C prime, and lightly shade that, all the way.
I connected C to C prime.
Why?
By accident. And C prime to C double prime.
Then fix it. Okay. All right. Listen up. Excuse me. Shh. Where's your paper at? Are you doing this?
Yes. I was really
Part
paying
D.
attention, like, early.
What kind of triangle do you want to draw? Okay. What other properties do you notice about the figure explaining your reasoning? Okay. So what kind of figure? What kind of triangle did we draw here? What kind of triangle did we draw here?
Triangle.
Is it isosceles?
No.
Perpendicular.
Okay. Oh, let's see.
Equilateral.
All the
Yeah.
equal line.
No, it's not.
What a freaking ollie.
Let's look. Okay, watch this. So I'm going C.
See.
See?
It's an
Equilateral.
equilateral.
to C double prime,
See, I said that.
and now C double prime could go all the way over to C, right? So that means that all sides are the same, aren't they?
Yes.
So all sides are the same. This is an equilateral. It is an equilateral triangle. What properties? Class.
Yes.
Okay, the guy that I see in the back of his head right now. Okay, right here. What do we know about an equilateral triangle?
All the sides are congruent.
All the sides, very good.
Thank you. Been working on my vocabulary. Shut up.
Oh, it felt weird.
What's the symbol for congruent?
Okay, here you go. Symbol for congruent. One wavy over an unequal sign. Now, listen carefully, please. This goes along with the next part. So equilateral has another thing that goes along with it. It says that all sides are congruent, but how do we categorize it by angles?
Wait, what
No,
happened?
no.
Wait, what was your question?
If all the sides are the same, okay, let's think about this. What is this angle right here going to be?
If all the 30 degrees. Oh, wait.
Why is it 30? That angle is like.
1250.
No, 90 is like all.
No, it'd be 30. 100.
This angle right here from here to here, how much is that?
30. 90. 100.
Oh, wait, we just checked it.
Bro, you guys got this thing to actually measure it. Come on now.
Oh, yeah.
It's all 30 degrees.
So from here all the way to here is 30.
Yep.
No.
It's like 40, 39.
It's like in between.
Okay, if it's 30.
Wait, all
Said
it's
this.
not 30. It's 60.
80.
80. Oh my god, everyone's just throwing up.
60.
Is it like 35?
Come on now. Look. The big angle for angle D.
It's
Right here.
90.
60.
It's 90.
Thank you, please.
Hello.
10, 20.
Did you guys measure it?
Yes, we're measuring. What are you talking
Look, I just measured it right there. My line?
It looks.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So stop shouting out all these other answers. They've already said the right answer 5 times already. What is this angle?
60.
60.
How you getting?
It's starting here. Okay, I'm measuring the whole angle. If you notice, arrow to arrow. That's going to be 60. So angle D, 60 degrees. Now, tell me what angle C is.
Oh my god.
Angle C.
Wait, I forgot how you measured it. Are you okay?
No.
Excuse me, I asked you to do something.
So wait, are we going from
Angle C, got to measure angle C.
to D?
To the little line.
30.
It's not 30.
120.
No. Not
30.
35.
60. Goofy.
Oh my
90.
god, just do it.
10, 25,
30.
40.
Please stop. Seriously. I'm asking you, please stop. Now, right here, on this one right here, so I put the center at the vertex. I line up one of the lines right here to be 0. So I'm measuring here to here, right? So I'm going this way. So I always start from 0, so this goes to 60. So angle C is going to be,
60. So they're all 60.
okay, and what about angle C double prime?
60, because all the sides are 60.
Angle C double prime.
Because they're all congruent.
Yes, they are. So angle C is double prime. C double prime is 60 degrees. Now, listen. This is a property of an equilateral triangle. All equilateral triangles the angles are going to be 60 degrees. Always. Okay, there is another word for that if all the angles are the same. Okay, that's a special word. Equiangular.
Are you for real?
Equiangular. All sides are the same. Or I'm sorry, all angles are 6 degrees.
Why'd you come and erase
That's all? Or we have to do that?
Okay.
Summary.
Now, let's look at the summary. Summary talks about everything that we did, and if we move anything, it gets a prime. Okay, if we get something, so if we move from P to P prime right here, then we can measure the angles in between. The sides, the legs are going to be congruent. Now, this is my notes on 23. Let's take a look at the cool down on 22. Okay, cool down 22. Okay, listen up please. Says, Andre tried to rotate triangle ABC 45 degrees counterclockwise. He knows something is wrong because his image doesn't seem to be congruent to the pre-image. Now, my image, which one's going to be the image? Which one is the one I'm going to use before?
The darker one?
The darker one? How can I tell which one's the pre-image and the image?
The lighter one is the
Because it has the little line thing.
Okay, the image is after the move. The pre-image doesn't have the tick marks. Okay, so pre-image is the one without tick marks. The image is after. Okay, so I want you guys have your patty paper and I showed you guys how to do this. Okay, it says right here, try to rotate it 45 degrees counterclockwise. Know something went wrong because the image doesn't seem to be congruent to the pre-image. Okay, you guys are going to answer these right here. So, what is one idea that Andre probably understands about rotations? What is one idea that Andre doesn't understand about rotations? And rotate ABC by 45 degrees counterclockwise, avoiding Andre's mistake. So, you guys are going to avoid that mistake. Okay, so that's what you guys are going to do right now. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Never.